96.9 WBZH and 101.1 WHSM, Hayward's home for real news and great conversation. Here's your daily news roundup.
For WBZH and WHSM News, I'm Maddie Schaefer. Community members are invited to celebrate your library this Saturday at the Sherman and Ruth Weiss Community Library in Hayward. The event runs from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. and includes a 5K fun run and walk beginning at 9:30, followed by a half-mile children's run and walk at 10:30. The library says participants in the children's event will receive a slice of watermelon, and winners will take home an entire watermelon courtesy of Marketplace Foods. The celebration will also feature a book signing with author Mary Seats from 9 to 10 a.m., along with a used book sale, silent auction, raffle drawings, and an Adopt-A-Book fundraiser. The event is free and open to the public, and registration for the fun run and walk begins at 9 a.m. You can find more information and event details on the Sherman and Ruth Weiss Community Library website. The Cable Natural History Museum is inviting young explorers to take part in its Wild Wonders Summer Camp later this month. The 3-day camp runs June 23rd through the 25th and is open to children ages 8 to 10. Campers will learn outdoor survival skills, explore the North Woods, play games, and take part in hands-on nature activities. The camp is held from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. each day at the Wake Robin Pavilion and costs $75 for museum members and $85 for non-members. Registration is open through June 15th. For more information or to register, visit cablemuseum.org. The Northwoods Humane Society in Hayward is looking for bleach donations to help care for the animals at its shelter. The organization says bleach is used every day to disinfect kennels, sanitize floors, clean food and water dishes, and wash laundry. Shelter staff say keeping up with cleaning is critical to maintaining a safe and healthy environment for the dogs and cats in their care. Donations can be dropped off at the shelter during regular hours. Marshfield Clinic is providing funding to help schools across northern Wisconsin strengthen student mental health support programs. The health system announced it has awarded 60 grants to school districts and organizations across its service area for 2 youth behavioral health initiatives. 33 grants will support the BEST Universal Screening Program, which helps educators identify students who may need behavioral health support, while 27 grants will fund the Life Tools program, which teaches coping and social-emotional skills through structured group sessions. Several Northwood schools received funding, including districts in Lac du Flambeau, Mercer, Mellon, Tomahawk, Webster, Lake Holcomb, Bruce, and Chequamegon. Marshfield Clinic Vice President of Community Impact Jay Schrader says strong support systems are more important than ever, adding the programs help schools and families address behavioral health needs early and keep students healthy, connected, and ready to learn. This marks the 12th year Marshfield Clinic has offered BEST grants and the 7th year for Life Tools. Since launching the programs, the clinic says they have reached hundreds of thousands of students and educators across Wisconsin. The American Red Cross is calling on eligible donors to give blood as the nation's blood supply faces seasonal shortages. Officials say the decline comes as the summer trauma season begins, a time when crashes, outdoor recreation injuries, and other emergencies can increase the demand for blood. Dr. Emily Coberly with the Red Cross says a readily available blood supply is critical because every minute counts for patients suffering severe blood loss. Several blood drives are planned across northwestern Wisconsin in the coming days, including June 11th at Spooner Health, June 15th at Christ Lutheran Church in Trego, June 16th and 17th at the American Inn in Ashland, and June 17th at C3 Church in Washburn. To schedule an appointment or learn more, visit the American Red Cross Blood Donation website or use the Red Cross Blood Donor app. For WBZH and WHSM News, I'm Maddie Schaefer. Now a look at Northwoods news. I'm Maddie Schaefer. Wisconsin Senator Tammy Baldwin and North Dakota Senator Kevin Kramer have introduced the Volunteer First Responder Housing Act, a bipartisan proposal aimed at helping volunteer firefighters and EMTs afford housing in rural communities. According to a press release, the bill would expand access to existing federal housing programs. Under the proposal, some volunteer first responders could qualify for USDA rural housing loans even if their income exceeds current eligibility limits by up to $18,000. The legislation would also make emergency responders eligible for the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development's Good Neighbor Next Door program, which offers discounts on certain homes in designated areas. The bill is backed by the Wisconsin State Firefighters Association, Wisconsin EMS Association, and Wisconsin Towns Association. Baldwin says the legislation is designed to help rural communities recruit and retain volunteer firefighters and EMTs by making home ownership more affordable affordable. The Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources is now accepting entries for its 2027 Wild Turkey, Pheasant, and Waterfowl Stamp Design Contests. Each year, artists from across Wisconsin compete for the chance to have their artwork featured on the state's annual wildlife stamps. The winning designs will appear on the 2027 collection of stamps, which are required for hunters who harvest those game bird species in Wisconsin. DNR officials say stamp sales generate hundreds of thousands of dollars each year for wildlife conservation efforts, including habitat management, restoration projects, research, and education programs. Artwork entries must be received or postmarked by August 1st, and judging is scheduled for August 22nd during the Waterfowl Hunters Expo in Oshkosh. Artists are encouraged to review contest rules and technical requirements before submitting their work. More information is available on the DNR's Wildlife Stamp Funding and Stamp Design Contest webpage. For Northwoods News, I'm Maddie Schaefer.
With Civic Media News, I'm Terry Miller. Severe storms swept across much of Wisconsin Wednesday, hitting areas like Madison, Milwaukee, Beaver Dam, and Appleton with strong winds, hail, and power outages. At one point, nearly 100,000 customers were without electricity, especially in counties like Dane, Jefferson, Waukesha, and Marathon. Winds over 60 miles per hour knocked down trees and power lines, causing damage in places like Fond du Lac and Oshkosh. There were also reports of large hail and a few isolated tornado threats. Crews are still working to restore power, with more storms possible later today. Voter participation in Wisconsin remains among the highest in the country, even as turnout edges down. A new national report ranks the state 8th overall, with more than 72% of voting-age residents casting ballots in 2024. That's a small drop from the last presidential election, continuing a slight downward trend. Researchers also note Wisconsin ranks low in trust in the federal government, but leads the nation in trust between people. Wisconsin is working to make it easier for people to visit state parks by combining admission passes with vehicle registration. State leaders say the partnership could simplify how residents pay for park access and plan trips. The effort is being led by WisDOT, the DNR, and Travel Wisconsin. They'll outline the details at a news conference this morning at Lake Kagansa State Park. And a strong spring turkey hunt in Wisconsin brought in nearly 48,000 birds. The DNR data puts this year's total well above recent averages. Experts say favorable weather has helped birds survive and reproduce. The season wrapped up May 26th, and officials say interest remains high, with more than 235,000 permits issued. More news can be found at civicmedia.us.
The Crew heads for home. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball. The Brewers return to Milwaukee to begin a 3-game series tomorrow night against the Philadelphia Phillies. The Brewers lost last night to the A's in Vegas 4-3, despite a good showing by right-hander Brandon Sproat, who gave up only 4 hits and 1 run through 6 innings.
It's good, 6 innings, 1 run. Yeah, it's great. Those are the results. But really, what I'm more proud of is just staying with the process and just keep, just stacking good days, stacking good work.
Manager Pat Murphy on Sproat's performance.
He attacked and he was ahead in the count most of the time, and very pleased with him. To go as long as he did, that's pretty good. Deserved to win.
NFL, Tucker Kraft telling reporters at minicamp he thinks he could be ready by week 1 against the Vikings. NBA, the Knicks were down 29 points and still came back to win 107-106 over the Spurs to take Game 4. It's the greatest comeback in finals history. With Sports, I'm Mike Clemens.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Increasing clouds today with showers and thunderstorms becoming likely in the afternoon. High temperatures in the mid-70s. For tonight, a lingering shower in the early evening, then gradual clearing. Low temperatures right around 50 degrees. Mostly sunny Friday, a high of 74.
That's your Hayward News Roundup from WBZH and WHSM. Find more news anytime at wbzh.fm/news. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts.